Hello and welcome into Armada Kickoff. It was a historic week for the Armada that saw them do something they'd never done before. Also saw Jacksonville put together their third consecutive positive result, all amid the start of the Mark Lowry era in charge of the Armada. But we'll start with Saturday's action on the road where the Armada snapped a long-standing drought. Perhaps the biggest thorn in the side of the Armada has been the elusive road win. All last year, Jacksonville went on the road and never came back home with 3 points. The trend continued this year, 25 straight matches without an away win. But that all ended Saturday in Ottawa.
Just brutal conditions in Ottawa on Saturday. Rain, there was lightning in the area. They delayed the start of the match for about 18 minutes, but when things got going, the Armada were on the front foot most of the first half. Here, a great opportunity off a shot from Pascal Million. Nearly an opportunity for Zach Steinberger, but Romuald Pézère able to get to it, punch it out. As the first half continued, Ottawa able to get some chances here. Carl Haworth off a giveaway. He scores again. He scored the last time out against the Armada, and it gives Ottawa a 1-0 lead. Jacksonville had never come from behind to win, but just a couple of minutes later, just over 60 seconds later, as a matter of fact, Keita scoring off a beautiful feed from Jamal Johnson, leveling the game at 1-1. That's the way it would be as we went to the second half. Second half, opportunity here for the Armada. Nicholas Maripu on the end of a corner kick. Just pulls it wide. He'll want that one back. 87th minute down. Here it is, the game winner, Keita. A little flick on header off the set piece. Jamal Johnson served it in, and Keita scores his second goal of the match, his third of the season. They've all come in the last 2 weeks. The Armada start the celebration after winning away for the first time in club history.
Then on Wednesday, the Armada returning home to face the Fort Lauderdale Strikers for Mark Lowry's second match as a head coach. 20th minute, Fort Lauderdale takes advantage of a giveaway by the Armada. Jose Angulo scores to make it 1-0 Fort Lauderdale. So for the second straight contest, the Armada falling behind. Actually, third straight if you go back to the Carolina draw. They fall behind 1-0. But Jacksonville would come back. 42nd minute, Pascal Million gets it to Zach Steinberger, who puts it away. Steinberger's second goal as a member of the Armada, first since his debut with Jacksonville against Tampa Bay beginning of the fall season. 1-1 at that point in the 52nd minute. Look again, Million really put it in a great place and great patience by Steinberger to put it away past Bruno. 1-1 at that point. Stayed that way until the 80th minute. Controversial moment here. Pekka Lagerblom gets it to Keita, whose shot is deflected. Charles Ilundu came in, put it away, and the whole stadium was celebrating Ilundu with the flip. Still needs to work on that dismount, but flag was up. Look on the top of your screen. The flag comes up right there, not for offsides, as it turns out. They call Pekka Lagerblom for a foul. Mark Lowry cannot believe it. Neither can Ilundu, and it ends in a 1-1 draw.
I'm exhausted. That was it's hot out here. We did a lot of running. We worked great as a team, and unfortunately, we didn't put it away enough tonight.
We need points. We need points. The only thing is back in our head now is try to get the 3 points. Try to get everybody's ready and try to get the 3 points. That's all it's about.
Minnesota at home, hopefully a W at home. So that's all there is. That's all we want.
All right, you take a look at the numbers here, and you can really see that the stats really bear out the fact that Fort Lauderdale sat in and just tried to look for their opportunities. Only one shot on goal for Fort Lauderdale, but they made it count. Look at the passing numbers as well for the Armada in the opposing half. 80% there. Possession certainly favoring the Armada as well. They had their opportunities, but it finishes with a 1-1 draw. Now let's convene the Analyst Roundtable, presented by Subway.
Players that you can switch around, and we're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
And welcome into the Analyst Roundtable presented by Subway. We've got David Hayes and Andy Kidd. All right, guys, what have we seen with the Armada under Mark Lowry's direction. Andy, what are you seeing?
I think you're seeing some consistency in the formation, somewhat in the lineup. Obviously, back-to-back games in 5 days. You have to tweak a little bit in the lineup, but the team can count on a certain formation, kind of know their role when they get in there. And you started to get a rotation with the subs that's kind of consistent. So I think that's helped simplify things a little bit.
Yeah, they're consistent and they're energized. I mean, I've been fortunate and unfortunate to play with coaches that just don't draw something out of you and draw something out of you. And I think Mark is getting it right with the players, and they look enthusiastic about being there, and they look like a different team.
All right, with 12 matches to go, what will you consider success for the rest of the season?
Success for me would be in the top 5 or the 6. I think we can get there. And if you think about it, you can get 36 points out of the next 12 games. So for me, I think I went 24 games unbeaten with Portland. So it is possible.
Wow.
So I think they can get 27 to 30 points and make the playoffs.
Wow. Yeah. No, I would say, based on last year, you want to show that you're growing as a franchise. And, if you can get the middle of the table, with an interim coach, start consistently scoring 2 goals a game, which they've really done, because Alondu's goal last night really, in my opinion, should have counted. But they're creating chances and goal-scoring opportunities, high quality. If they can show that to the fan base and to the NASL that they're making a move, middle of the table, consistent goal scoring, keeping the ball at the back of the net, I think people would be excited.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Andy Kidd, David Hayes, thanks so much. More from you guys here in just a moment. Let's hear now from Mark Lowry. I spoke with him earlier this week about the reaction to the win in Ottawa and how much the road win meant to him and the team. Here's Coach's Corner, presented by Asana Wellness Center, the official training facility of the Jacksonville Armada.
Well, I think it was built up from last season as well. The last road trip last season away in Edmonton, where we conceded that last-minute goal. I think we felt that was going to be the time, and then we've had some close calls this season where, towards the end of the game, we're winning or we're tying, and we might be able to nick the win. It's not quite happened for us. So just to get across that finish line, I think the guys were confident that they would do it as well. Even when, with 5 minutes to go, they were putting us a little bit of pressure, obviously. We still felt comfortable and calm. There was a good feeling through the group. So I think, a lot of emotion from the players after the game, a big sigh of relief, and now they can just look forward.
On the set piece that turned into the goal, you had Charles walk over there first, and then Keita came over, and then JJ said, "I'm not kidding." So, and there was no dissension. It was just...
Yeah, no, I mean, Charles was the one that made the run down the line and won the free kick, I believe. He forced the handball from Alves, I think. And then, Keita, he was feeling good, so he wants to get on everything. But I think we got a message on the field, like, Keita, we want you being the guy that puts in the net for us. He understood that, and obviously, once JJ got on the ball, the rest is history. He put a great delivery in, and Keita's got his head in it. It was a great goal.
Now, you may have felt a little nostalgic watching the Armada on Saturday. Some familiar faces were back in the lineup, and the ball once again found the back of the net.
Now another one for Keita. Little one-touch from Johnson. Keita out in front of the goal! It had been since October 17th of last year since Keita, Jamal Johnson, and Pascal Million were all in the starting lineup together. That trio combined for 18 goals and 7 assists in 2015. But 2016 hasn't been the same story until Saturday, when all 3 were in the starting lineup and contributing.
With all the situation we went through, all the difficulty, so it was time at least to get it done. It was time to change things, and that will happen.
Now they and the rest of the Armada are looking to take back Community First Park and make it the kind of home field advantage the team enjoyed a year ago.
There aren't that many games left where we have the opportunity to miss opportunities. So, we've got to continue to get points and slowly improve our performance. And from there, who knows what happens. This league's a little crazy that way.
We want to, send a message across the league that, our home is our fortress, and that it's going to be difficult for anybody to come and beat us here. And most importantly, I think our fans deserve a win every time they come out to a game, every time they take time out of their day, the kids, and spend the money to come watch us play. I think they deserve, not just good soccer product on the field, but also 3 points and a team to be proud of.
It's up to the players to perform, and if this past week is any indication, Mark Lowry has them in the right frame of mind to do just that Saturday against Minnesota United.
That experience through the team, I felt we needed. Going on to that road game when the guys felt they could do it. So having that extra experience on the field at the right time is definitely definitely helps us achieve, that victory.
All right, here's what the Armada have coming up. Saturday, Minnesota United. That's a 2:30 start, part of the Football Night in Jacksonville promotion before the Jaguars play their preseason home game. Then Saturday, September 3rd, starts a stretch of 3 straight away matches at Carolina, at Rayo OKC, and that trip to Puerto Rico. No, you can't go. Everybody's been asking me if I'm going to take them. No, you can't. No. Saturday would be a nice trip, though, wouldn't it? Saturday, September 24th, the Armada back home at Community First Park to take on Rayo OKC. Tickets available for that one by calling 844-2-ARMADA or by going online to armadafc.com. Coming up, more dramatic last-second wins by teams at the top of the table. We'll go around the NASL, plus Andy Kidd takes his turn on the Armada Boot Room. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
To enter for your chance to participate in the Winn-Dixie Bubble Battle, visit your nearest Winn-Dixie in your Armada gear, take a selfie, and post it to any of the Armada social media using the hashtag WinnDixieBB. 2 winners will be selected every Wednesday during a home match week. Assemble a team of 3, and you're ready for battle.
You can never count out Indy 11. Another late goal for the league leaders, but they weren't the only team to win in dramatic fashion this week. Let's go around the NASL, presented by Nike.
Let's start in Indy, where Indy 11 continued to get it done in dramatic fashion. 84th minute, game tied at 1. Colin Falvey scores the game winner after OKC goalkeeper Daniel Fernandez couldn't hang on to the ball off the corner. Indy's captain scoring to give the 11 a 2-1 victory over Rayo OKC. Cosmos and Tampa Bay, Rowdies jump out to a 2-0 lead. The New York came screaming back to tie it up, and then in the 93rd minute, David Dioza scoring to maintain the Cosmos' unbeaten streak at home, which has now reached 12 games. 3-2, the Cosmos beat the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Carolina Railhawks, Puerto Rico FC, 89th minute. Puerto Rico up 2-1 until Matt Fondy scores his 4th goal of the year. It's a 2-2 draw between the Railhawks and Puerto Rico FC. Fort Lauderdale Strikers, Miami FC in a battle in South Florida. After a 3-hour weather delay, Fort Lauderdale took 84 minutes and finally got on the board. Paolo Jr. with the goal. And then just a couple of minutes later, the former Juventus and Italian national team forward Amari scoring his first goal as a member of the Strikers. 2-0, Fort Lauderdale beating Miami FC. And FC Edmonton extending its home winning streak to 9 games. Tomi Amiobi, his 2nd goal of the year just after the second half began. FC Edmonton 1, Minnesota United 0.
Well, here are the NASL fall standings. Indy 11, the spring season champ, still on top, level on points with FC Edmonton, then the Cosmos, followed by Minnesota United. See, the Armada have crept up to 9th in the table so far, but they have played more matches than anybody in the NASL's fall season. Combined standings, and frankly, this is probably the best opportunity for the Armada if they're going to make a run here. Indy 11, again, still on top. If Indy wins both the spring and the fall, then it goes to the next 3 best overall records. And so the 4th place team right now, Minnesota United with 30 points, the Armada with 16. You can see a large gap to make up, but they're playing better, so who knows how things may go as the season continues to unfold. Now let's head to the Armada Boot Room, presented by M-Tech. All right, back here on the Armada Boot Room, and it's Andy Kidd making a return into the boot room. All right, Saturday's win in Ottawa was a big one, and everybody will talk about the goals, but you saw a couple of great examples on the defensive end of the way that the team was very organized, and that really made a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're going to show you is a couple of examples of how you can dictate play defensively, even when when you don't have the ball. And it's little things. They're not the sexiest plays, but on the road, they're little things that can lead to winning on the road in a place like Ottawa.
All right, let's take a look at a couple of those examples.
Yeah, in this first example, Cole, what we're going to look at is Keita, Steinberger, and Johnson. And while they're attacking players, they're doing the extra work on the defensive end to dictate play. So let's see what they're doing here. And I'm going to pause it here in just a second because Steinberger's positioning is huge right here. He starts to come at an angle. He's not coming straight down. He's coming at an angle here to make sure that he cuts off that back pass. And what this does is it kind of dictates play a little bit. So let's watch what happens. And what happens? Anthony Wallace can anticipate what's happening right here and pick off the pass, and that leads to a counterattack for the Armada. So let's see what comes from it.
So really, it's just about body position from Steinberger and how that impacts where the ball is going to go.
Absolutely.
And everybody else can play off of it.
Yeah, and Steinberger's not trying to win a tackle there. He's trying to just dictate play so the rest of the defenders can get in there and anticipate a pass and pick it off. And you can see Steinberger almost gets rewarded at the other end. All right, on the second clip, similar to that, you're going to watch Ottawa ping it around for a second. And right now, Armada's not trying to win a tackle in the attacking third here, and Ottawa's defensive third. All right, they're just working together. You see Keita sliding over. You see Steinberger sliding over. But Keita's positioning is good there. Now, this is great right here, what you see from the Armada. Jamal Johnson's the left midfielder, but he's not all the way out at the touchline down here. He's pinched in. You're going to give Ottawa this diagonal ball all day because that's such a hard ball to hit. All right, that is a hard ball to hit, and your team's going to be able to react in time for that. And so what Jamal's done is he's pinched in here, and he's cutting off that lane there. Ottawa looks up, and all they've got is Armada players all around them. You got Steinberger cutting off the back pass, Kevon George putting him under pressure, and Jamal's in a great position to pick off this pass. So let's see how it plays out. Jamal's able to pick it off, and the Armada are off on the other direction.
It's sometimes about the little things away from the ball, tough to follow necessarily during the match, but when you go back and look at it, you can really see how those little details make a difference.
It's a huge difference, especially when you're on the road. You've got to stay together as a team, not just going forward and trying to get those goals, but defensively, which can lead to goals.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. All right, Andy's back here in just a moment. We'll convene the Analyst Roundtable once again, talk about the U.S. and their chances in the World Cup qualifying that's straight ahead. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff right after this. Hey, head into your local Subway and get the Subway Armada FC meal deal. 6-inch Subway sandwich, chips, and a drink. And when you do, you'll get vouchers for buy one, get one free tickets and enter to win prizes that would include season tickets for 2017 to the Armada. It's the Armada FC meal deal at your local participating Subway. Now time for the Analyst Roundtable presented by Guess Who?
Players that you can switch around, and
We're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
Back in here on the Analyst Roundtable, Andy Kidd, David Hayes. All right, the Premier League started this past weekend. Any surprises? What'd you see?
Oh, yeah. Hull City versus Leicester.
you would take that one.
For me, a newly promoted team gets beat or beats the defending champion. That's the for me.
Yeah, Arsenal going down was kind of a surprise. I got a lot of buddies that are huge Arsenal fans, and they were all over social media, just crushed at starting off the year with a loss.
Jamal Johnson the same. We didn't even want to talk about it. By the way, Jamal, a big Arsenal supporter. We're now less than a month away from the U.S. restarting World Cup qualifying, including a match they'll play here against Trinidad and Tobago. What are you looking for there?
Well, they could take a page out of Mark Lowry's book and just simplify things a little bit. I thought they started to get into good rotation in the Copa America with, Nagby coming in and, the substitutes that they had, the youth kind of combining with the veterans. I don't think you have to do this overhaul youth movement or go with your veterans from the last World Cup either, but simplifying it and maybe sticking with a squad that you had for Copa America.
I agree with Andy. You have to simplify it. They got to beat St. Vincent, and then they got to, take care of Trinidad and Tobago here, which is very exciting.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to that game.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that, and perhaps Kevon George of the Armada might be on the pitch there for Trinidad and Tobago on that day. Saturday, Minnesota United coming to town. They are a different team away than they are at home. What are you expecting?
Yeah, they are. I mean, if we can beat them, we have to beat them here. At home they're phenomenal at home, and I know going into Minnesota it's always tough to play there. But I think we can steal a win here. But they are a different team. I don't know if that's due to travel, preparation, whatever it is. But they are a completely different team.
It's wild to see the amount of goals they've given up on the road. When they travel, you're seeing 4 goals and 3 goals and another 4-goal game. And and to David's point, it may be the travel. They're one of the teams furthest north in the league besides the Canadian teams, and having to come all the way down to Florida and Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Lauderdale, Tampa, all the Florida teams could be a challenge for them. And, they don't have the friendly confines either where they have that great home field crowd. And so you hope the Armada can create a hostile environment here on Saturday.
I didn't think necessarily this would be a phrase that would come out of my mouth this year, but in 2016, the Armada and Minnesota United have the same number of road wins.
Wow.
Wow. We'll see what happens on Saturday.
So
Andy Kidd, David Hayes, thanks so much. Coming up, we look ahead to Saturday's matchup with Minnesota United. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
Next up for the Armada, it's Minnesota United. Earlier this year, the Armada went to Minnesota and were handled 2-0, but the Loons are a different team when they travel. This year at home, Minnesota United have gone 7-1-2, but they've won only once in 8 road matches. They're led by the league's leading goal scorer, Christian Ramirez, and 5 members of last year's NASL Best 11 squad. Last year, the Armada played one of the more entertaining games in the league against Minnesota, a 3-3 draw last July the 31st at Community First Park.
All right, so here's the next match on Saturday. It will include the Armada tailgate party in Lot X after the match and before the Jaguars play. This is all part of football night in Jacksonville. There are great deals on both sides, so you can actually go to jaguars.com/FNIJ to see more, or go to armadafc.com. Of course, for tickets, call 844-2-ARMADA. And game day brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Remember, you can get the latest on the Armada online at armadafc.com and on Sports Radio 930. We have the Armada Coaches Show Mondays at 6 and the Armada Soccer Show Wednesday at 6 p.m. Our coverage of the Armada and Minnesota United begins Saturday at 2 p.m. with pregame kickoff at 2:30. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Armada Kickoff.
Armada Kickoff is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, the mark of a quality home.